Well, hello, Dixie Belle paint fans. How are you today? It is Melissa coming to you live from the dining room floor for Wednesdays live at 3 with me from the Top Drawer RVA. So welcome. How are you today? It's nice to see you. I kind of have a tiny little cabinet that we're going to be playing with today, and I thought that you might want to come along and join me for the little journey that we're going to go on with this small piece. Now, you might be looking at it and wondering, why is it so small? Why is she working in such a tiny cabinet? Well, I'm not going to lie. All the other things in the shed were ginormous and big, and I could not carry them in by myself. So this is what we're going to get today, and we're going to make it beautiful. So let's do this, shall we? Let's jump right in. Welcome. Thanks for joining me. Hi, everybody. Hey, Rima. Okay, so I have this little ugly duckling, and y'all know I love an ugly duckling. I like the cabinets and the cupboards and the things that are just, side of the road ugly. I'll take them all day long. I like to take them, transform them, and make them beautiful. So I am going to show you how we're going to do this today. So this little wood cabinet, and also FYI, I'm going to be yelling because microphones no longer work with Facebook Lives. So you have to bear with me over pronouncing and yelling in order to hear, because I know that it's going to be difficult for people to hear. That's why it's another reason that I'm nice and close up. You can all hear what I'm saying, and we will go from here. All right, so this little ugly duckling cabinet has 3 drawers. I've painted the first drawer in Holy Guacamole because I'm going to show you a couple different things today. We're going to talk about Would You Bend, we're going to talk about Silkscreen stencils, we're going to talk about Ombre. We're going to do all of the things, and why shouldn't we on this cute little cabinet? So I have cleaned it with white lightning to prepare it for paint. I did remove, there was like a big splash of paint on it from where, I don't know. I've sanded that off so that it's nice and flat and we can get started on this little ombre blend. So let's jump in. So it's ugly, right? I know it's ugly. It's got cute hardware, which I will be painting gold, but it's really boring. It's a boring cabinet. There's nothing going on this cabinet. So what we're going to do today is we're going to paint, and we're going to talk a little bit about Would You Bend. Have you heard about Would You Bend? Would You Bends are bendable, stainable moldings that you can do lots of fun things with. And we're going to take them and we're going to add them to the front of this cabinet. So Would You Bend moldings are available on the Dixie Belle paint page under tools. They come in this new fabulous wrapping, which ensures that your packaging will not be broke. Nothing will be bent or broken with your Would You Bends, because now they have this secure little piece to hold your pieces. So I thought what we could do today is work on the base, do an ombre blend, and then I'm gonna show you how Would You Bends work today. So the plan is to take Would You Bend moldings. This one happens to be number 2102, okay? And I'm going to be adding these onto the piece to kind of zhuzh it up some and give it some life, because it needs some color and some life, this sad little boring cabinet, all right? So Would You Bend moldings can also be painted before you attach them to your piece, which I've done right here in some gorgeous gemstone mousse, or you can paint them after. So my plan for this front drawer is to do some stencils, but we're going to do that last, and then I'm going to stick some Would You Bend moldings on somewhere, I don't know where. We're going to get crazy in here. All right, so let's begin. I'm going to take out the drawers to begin with. We're going to put them aside so I don't knock them over. And we're going to get started. Yay for painting. Yay. All right, so my idea for this piece is to do a Mad Hatter design. Everybody knows my Mad Hatter craziness, right? Mad Hatter craziness is what I love to do. I like to paint fun and whimsy and color, and life is too short to be boring, so let's do all of the things. I'm going to take the drawers out, and we're going to start with the base, all right? So this little cabinet is just plain boring wood. I've cleaned it really well. It's in good shape, it's solid. Just needs some love, right? Needs some color, needs some paint. So let's do something crazy to the base of this piece, all right? Let's add some ombre blending. And let's add ombre blending in aubergine and muscadine wine, because hello, look how pretty those colors are. So pretty. Then for each drawer, we're going to do another different ombre blend. One drawer is going to be amethyst and lucky lavender. One drawer is going to be peacock and some Bunker Hill blue. And then of course that drawer that I've already started is Holy Guacamole, and we're going to use some stripes. okay? We're gonna get in with the stripes and the gemstone mousse, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. All right, let's do it. I'm gonna move my little tiny woodgie bends to the back so I don't get paint on them. And we're gonna start right down here at the base. So this is Dixie Belle Chalk Mineral Paint. There are 0 VOCs. I'm going to be painting in my house like I always do. I have pets, I have kids, I have all of the things all around me all the time. And it's safe to do in your home. So don't be worried when you're using this product. There's no smell. It's easy peasy. You can put it on anything and we're gonna have some fun with color. So when you use chalk mineral paint, I like to use a dampened brush. I use my spray misting bottle filled with water. And this allows me to keep my brush strokes to a minimum. And it also allows me, when I do my ombre blending, to pull it together. All right, so we're gonna start at the base with my favorite purple aubergine. So this little cabinet is just gonna get a couple coats. I think I'll go about halfway, because the top, I'm thinking I'm gonna add stripes, like black and white, caviar and fluff, or caviar and cotton maybe. The trick to doing a multicolored piece, even though it seems wild and wacky to put aubergine and muscadine wine and holy guacamole, it's not that crazy when you look at it, because if you keep those colors kind of in the same jewel tone family, they're gonna work together really well. Trust me on this. All of the things all over this little tiny ugly cabinet is gonna take away from its ugliness and it's gonna look fabulous. So aubergine is nice and dark. It has that kind of one coat wonder, I like to call them. It's very highly pigmented, which means that you're not going to need a lot of paint. When it's highly pigmented like this, when it's super, super nice and rich and dark, you can get away with using less paint. So keeping a damp brush is going to help your paint go a little further. And using these nice, deep, dark tones, you're not going to use as much paint, because the darker it is, the less coats you need. From what I've learned anyways, from my own experience. Okay, so all I've done is put like a tiny one coat of aubergine on the cabinet. All right, one coat, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to put my brush down. I'm going to get another brush, because when I do ombre blending, I like to keep a separate brush for each color, okay? Keeping a separate brush for each color helps you to not be contaminated when I'm sticking it into all the jars. And FYI, I do that. I do that a lot. And hey, I see your comment up there about not being a professional blender. Guess what? Nobody is. Nobody's professional at anything. We're all just having fun at the end of the day, right? Playing with paint. I've just done this so many times that I feel comfortable doing it. It's a lot of fun to me, and it's my way of relaxing. So, I should have opened this before we started. Save the day. We would have had to pick another blending color if I couldn't open it. Okay, so this is muscadine wine. Check that pretty color out. Muscadine wine blends amazing with aubergine. Those two colors together, you're going to see again and again and again on my project, okay? Because from experience, I've learned that they blend so good together. They look so good together. Then when you start adding in the other accent colors, they play off each other and they almost become like a pretty neutral. It's really nice, actually. I like it a lot. All right, so we've got our aubergine down here. I'm going to put up here with my brush. This just happens to be the round large. Actually, I lied. It's the oval small. This one, and I'm going to add the color up here. So my plan is to take this top piece, which I'm not going to do today because you wouldn't be able to see the top very well, but I'm going to stripe it. I'm going to add caviar and cotton and stripe some beautiful Mad Hatter stripes in the top of that, because it's kind of a square, boring piece. It needs some zhuzh, it needs some love. So let's add this on here. Okay, so I'm not going to blend my colors yet. You're going to see them touch. I'm not blending them yet. I'm just laying down that coat. Again, almost totally covering that whole piece with one coat. How good is that? These two colors, they're so easy to use. And you know, I put this on wheels, but I don't know if I can actually turn it. I probably should have tried to do that before I started. Let's go this way. Okay, so I'm gonna bring this muscadine wine all the way up, remembering that this top piece is gonna be striped. And I'm not gonna do that here. If you want to see me do that, come on over to my own Facebook page. I linked it above my head. You can come over and join me at the Top Drawer RVA, and I will continue it on over there, okay? Okay. I mean, if you really wanted to make this crazy fun, you could add trim. Would you bend trim would be really nice. And I could still even do that after, because would you bend can be added while you painted it before or after. It's totally up to you. But for now, I'm going to concentrate on this part. We'll see how far we get today, okay? I feel like I'm going to talk less, that I don't have my microphone on, because when I turn my head, I feel like you can't hear me. And anyways, I had somebody tell me this week, on a live no less, that I talk too much. Y'all, I know I talk too much, and I talk even more when I get nervous. So I think by watching me every week, y'all have learned that I'm like a chatty gal. I love to talk. And if somebody says something to you ever that kind of dulls your spirit or makes you feel uncomfortable, just know that I think it's a-okay to talk too much. I think it's a-okay to put yourself out there and do these lives and have some fun and make mistakes and learn along the way. And you know, you gotta take it with a grain of salt. Sometimes there's people out there that just don't get my vibe, I guess. But if you know, and you know me, and you know I love to talk, there's always a mute button. You can just take the volume down. But I hope you can hear me okay without my mic. It was making me think today that you might not be able to hear all this chattering. Okay, so now you can see muscadine wine. You can see aubergine. Both of them are really deep, beautiful colors, okay? When you want to blend them, all you're going to need to do is make sure that it's covering, like you've got enough paint on your surface. I'm going to go over each area just a little bit, just to make sure that I've got enough paint on my piece. I'm going to make sure that my second coat is always misted a little bit more heavy, because that extra little bit of water helps eliminate the brush strokes. But it really, honestly, this purple and this color here, this beautiful muscadine wine, they don't need like a second coat. They really don't. They kind of hold their own. So I'm just gonna make sure it's there. I'm gonna look from the front, and I'm gonna add a little bit more up here. Again, making sure your brush is really wet. Okay, so let's talk about blending. Everybody freaks out about blending, ombre blending. It's not hard, especially when these two colors are so close to one another on the color wheel. You know, they're almost kind of the same shade. You know, red and purple are super close. So you just have to decide, do you want to take your purple up or do you want to take your red down? I think I'm going to take my red down a little bit, and we're going to see. So keeping on with this brush, I'm going to get a little bit of paper towel on the floor over here. And I'm going to blot off the excess amount of paint, okay? So by blotting off that extra amount of paint, you're not like having too much on your brush. I'm going to re-dampen, and I'm going to just gently move my hand up. See how far up I hold my brush? When I'm doing ombre blending, I make sure to hold my brush really kind of closer to the bristles. It gives you a little bit more control. I'm going to keep my movements feathery and short, and really, really light. And that's gonna help you pull these two colors together, okay? All right, so all you're gonna do is gently, remember, gently. If you feel your brush drag, blot it off, wet it again. Do you want to take your red down further on the sides? Do you want to bring the purple up? Totally your prerogative. You can do however you want to do this, okay? But this is like the perfect style to practice your blending on because it's nice and flat and it's not really difficult. I might even come in here later and put stripes on the side. You never know. Let's go back to the purple, blotting off and re-wetting and see what we can do. Ta-da! I'm totally happy with that. What do you think? Can you see that? Can you see that in the light? Look how pretty that little blend is right there. So easy, so fast. These colors go together like peanut butter and jelly. They're really good colors together. They really are. So let's turn it around and work on the front a little bit. Now there's obviously not a lot of wood surface up here. There's just this little bit right here. Okay. And down here. So I'm going to add a little bit more purple down here at the bottom. I should put my hardware. Oh, y'all, I thought I just dropped this hardware in my open can of paint because that's how I roll around here. I am a big, huge klutz. If accidents are going to happen, they're going to happen to me. I actually thought I almost dropped that right in there. That would be funny. Let's move it into the other direction so it's out of the way and safe. Okay, so I think I'm going to put my brush down and go back to the muscadine wine. Let's bring this muscadine wine and just blend it. You're not even really going to see this. I think that when the drawers go in, it's going to hide it, but I still need it to come together, right? Cuteness, so cute. Okay, that's cute. That's all I did was just blend those two little bits on the front and we'll go from there. I see some little happy faces. Tweezers or tongs. Are you talking about the paint, the hardware in the paint? It didn't land, I missed it. It didn't land in there. Let's do the other side and then we'll work on some drawers. Okay, so looking at this, I can see my purple aubergine is covered pretty darn good, pretty good. I'm just gonna go in and make sure that all my wood is covered. And it also helps when you're pulling these two colors together to like have them be wet. Because if they're really dry, you can't blend when it's really dry, you just can't. Okay, looking at my muscadine wine, it's looking pretty good. Okay, so remember, like on the other side, I'm going to pull this muscadine wine down. With my dampened brush. And I'm going to go back with my aubergine, blotting it off with a paper towel, making sure that it's like somewhat taken off of the extra amount of paint. And coming back up. That is good. I'm going to live with that. I like this. I like that look. So, muscadine wine, aubergine. Knowing that I'm going to take this little top bit up here and paint it black and white stripes. Okay? Or maybe even a big black and white diamond. I don't know. I haven't gotten there so far. So let's go back to the beginning. And you're going to see something now. Let's see. Now you're going to see. Oh, sure, Melissa. You got a little bit of aubergine on there. Let's get that off before we get started. I'm not a very neat painter, which is why I have to repaint these walls probably every 5 weeks or so. Just taking off the aubergine that I spilled on top of my whole guacamole. Okay, back in business, back in business. So now you're going to see how delicious this green looks with these two colors. Look at how good that looks together. So good, so good. Okay, so let's do the next drawers and then we're going to come back and do the stencils. The reason I want to do the stencils last is because when you work with Silkscreen stencils, you're going to want to wash them like ASAP. You can reuse these Silkscreen stencils like 10, 12 times, a ton of times. But here's my handy dandy tip of the day. You gotta wash these suckers right away. So we're gonna do these at the very end, okay? But they are coming, just wait. You gotta watch to the end now. There's my little kicker. You gotta come and watch to the end. Okay, so let's put some lids on paint so we don't spill it. And move into the second drawer. So again, clean with white lightning. Taking off a little bit of sanding here where there's some extra paint. I don't know where that came from. And we're gonna do the next drawer. So the next drawer, let's do purple. Let's get crazy up in here. Lucky lavender, all right, and amethyst. Let's do this. So again, I'm gonna spray my brushes on the floor so that they stay nice and damp because I'm gonna have to wash them when I'm done with my scrubby soap. And let's open up some new colors. New brushes for every color. So we've got a couple brushes on the floor. We can do this. I'm getting low on brushes, y'all. Getting low. All right, so we have two gorgeous purple colors. Look at those purples. So pretty, right? I'll put them on the floor. I got my two brushes, and I've got my drawer. So let's do this so that you can see. I'm gonna balance it on my leg. Fancy like that. Let's start with amethyst. So when you're doing a blend like we did on the sides of that piece, I want you to think about colors that are close. If the colors are close, your job is going to be very easy. If the colors are super far away, like green and purple, that's going to be harder. It's going to be a lot harder. So I'm just going to lay these two colors on here and get a paper towel. Obviously. Messy, messy. All right, so I'm gonna lay my brush down and we're gonna go into the next color. So again, wetting your brush helps keep it movable, helps that paint, kind of minimizes those brush strokes. Let's jump into some Lucky Lavender. This is actually a really pretty color. I don't know if you've used this color or not before. I feel like it's underused. It's so nice. Let's get up here on the edge. So these two colors are close enough that this blend is going to be super duper easy. I just need to make sure that I have enough paint covering the wood before I pull them together. Because technically, I would put this on, wait for it to dry, come back, add my second coats, but for you, to teach you, I'm like rushing the process. It's all for you. Okay, making sure my colors are close, but not touching it. Okay, Lucky Lavender, amethyst, super pretty. Super crazy? Yes, but why shouldn't a little ugly duckly cabinet be super pretty? It deserves some prettiness too. So let's add, make sure all of my edges are covered. Okay, you ready? Blending, can you see? I gotta hold it up. I'd angle my camera, but I got a new light and it's super heavy and I'm scared to touch it. It might fall over. I don't need any more chaos in my day. So same brush, okay? I'm just gonna gently pull these two colors together. This darker color is going to travel a lot more into the light. It just is. It's just the way that it goes when it comes to blending. So I just kind of want to focus on this middle area before, and I'm blotting off my brush on my paper towel. Okay, now I'm going to come back in with my Lucky Lavender. Still see? Still see. And I'm going to go the other way, just because I kind of want to break this line up a little bit. Back and forth, feathery movements. Light-handed, right? Pretty. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back, okay? Back to this brush. Clean up these edges a little bit. And I'm gonna go back and forth the same way that I just went, but I'm gonna bring the other one over. Just a touch. Just blurring that little bit of a line. And I like it better bringing this one down. So let me spray it. Pretty. Okay, very pretty. See that little blend on the edge? And I went too far. Now I gotta go back. I have to go back with the other one. I went too far. That's kind of the trick with blending, is stop while you're ahead. You go too far sometimes and it takes away from what you're doing. Okay, so now I've got this cutie little blended drawer, right? Half Lucky Lavender, half Amethyst. Let's pretend that it's going to live right here. I think I want to add a little bit more of the original Lucky Lavender to the piece. And the reason I don't do this in here on these tiny drawers, see, I just splashed it up there. I'm messy, y'all. I'm a messy painter, and I'm gonna make a mess of everything I'm doing. So I kind of want to keep it out so that I can work on it by itself. So this I'm happy with. So now you can imagine, here's my hardware. It's gonna be bright gold, right? And guess what we're gonna add to this drawer? This one is gonna be the one with big gold wood bends. Huge, gold, huge. It's gonna look so pretty, really pretty. What do you think? Can you see my vision now starting to happen a little bit? We'll get there. All right, so let me just wipe off. Oh no, I didn't get it on there. I'm good. I'm good. All right, so let's move down to the last drawer and do a little bit of blending. And then we'll see if this gets dry enough to work on some stencils, all right? I'm gonna move the wood bends down here to the floor. I'm gonna move my brushes over, and I'm going to spray them with water because I'm gonna have to wash them eventually. And spraying them with water when they sit on the floor, it's just my way of kind of keeping them moist so that when I get in here and do this later, they're gonna be easier to wash. They're not gonna get all crunchy. So how's everybody doing? I haven't put my glasses on to see what everybody's up to. You hang it in here to the end so that you can see my stencil. It's gonna be the most fun. We're gonna take this off and we're gonna stripe stencils. It's gonna be super cute. Super cute. Okay, last two colors. We have beautiful Bunker Hill and Peacock because, hello, we don't have enough color on here. We need more, right? More color. Let's do this. We have two more brushes on the floor and two more colors. And we're going to do the same thing to the bottom drawer that we just did to that one. But instead of going left to right, I think I'm gonna go up and down. So let's take this last drawer. It's got like a little staple coming through, but we're gonna paint over top of that. I don't think you're gonna see that little bit, okay? And then we'll work on some wood bends. So on the floor I have two brushes. I have my new Scarlet brush, which is fabulous, synthetic, and so big. It's like a handheld palm. It's kind of like my jam. I really like it. It also washes super duper well. I have a flat large. Let's go, shall we? All right, so I'm gonna wet my brush, last drawer, and then we're gonna get bendy. Bendy with wood bend. Let's start with Peacock. Look at that color. Oh my gosh, so good. And yes, I'm heavy-handed with my paint. I really am. I put a lot of paint on my pieces. It's just the way I roll. You can use less paint. You don't have to be so crazy with the amount of paint you're using. Look at that coverage. So good. Look at that. Super good. Okay, I'm gonna spray my Scarlet, and I'm gonna add Bunker Hill. Making sure to come in on the edges, because I think these drawers sit out a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody handmade this cabinet. I don't know. I buy these things from all over the place. You never know what you're gonna get. Okay, so let's take this Bunker Hill and bring it right up into the Peacock. This is how I love this brush, because it's for blending. It's a dream, y'all. It is a dream. Dream brush. And I know it's out of stock, but if you go to the brush, okay, go to it. Sign up underneath where it says sold out to be notified when they come into stock. And you will be happy because they will send you a quick email and you can just jump right on your computer and order as many as you want because they are so good. So cute, right? So cute. Okay, so now we have 3 drawers with 3 different colors. Well, actually 4 colors and 1 extra color on the top. Now, let's talk about wood you bend, okay? Wood you bend moldings, you heat them up. So they come like this, they're flat, right? They're hard, they're rigid. When you heat them up with your heat gun, you're able to bend them. It's your prerogative if you want to paint them first or paint them after you get them on your piece. These are almost like they're like absorbent, okay? They take paint like a dream. They're really easy to use. So my plan is to, where did I put those ones? Somewhere. Take these wood you bends, okay? These are the wood you bends. I've already painted them with my gemstone mousse and golden gem. This is wood you bends number 2, 4, 3, 7. These cutest little curly cues. Super adorable, right? I've painted them already. And guess what? I didn't paint them that long ago. Like 2 hours ago I painted them with my gemstone mousse and they're like almost dry. Almost dry. So let's do stencil and then maybe we can stick these on. You want to? You want to hang out? Let's do it. All right, let's do stencil. Okay, so we're gonna do stencil in this drawer. And my plan is to tape it off a little bit. I want to tape it off so that it has like a straight effect with the stencil, all right? This is gonna be my marker. I'm gonna lay down my initial set of tape here. I always start in the middle. I don't know why I just do. Otherwise it gets unbalanced. I'm not using that piece obviously because I just messed it up. Let's get another piece. So we're gonna lay some painter's tape down across the middle of my drawer. Nothing crazy. See? Painter's tape. I find that if you start in the middle where the knob is, it's a good kind of balance to figure out so that if it's off center a little bit, like with your amount of tape that you're using, the ends don't matter as much. So I'm going to put my little tape in the middle as my marker, I call it, and I'm going to tape off the next one, okay? And then we will do some stencils. And I might have to actually touch this camera and aim it down. Oh gosh, bear with me, do not fall off. Do not fall off. Yay, it stayed. It fell off like 5 minutes before I started my filming today, so that's what's making me nervous. So here we go, laying this tape down. And then we're gonna work on some Silkscreen stencils. Have you used Silkscreen stencils before? They're a lot of fun. I really do like them. The reason I like them is because they are easy. You don't get bleed through. And they are super sharp. I have difficulty stenciling, I'm not gonna lie. The regular stencils for me are hard. I think because I'm impatient and I put too much paint on my brush. I've found a technique that works really good for these stencils and I'm gonna show you what it is, okay? So inside of every stencil package that you buy, there's 3 designs. When you choose your design, you can use it, wash it, and reuse it again and again and again. So the trick that I've learned, the stencil we're going to use today is the patterns stencil, okay? So here's the 3 packages, the 3 things that come inside your package. I've already played a little bit right here. You can see these colors on here. You can wash them or reuse them. If you use gilding wax, it's going to be hard. You can do it. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I found the best thing that works well for these stencils is Moonshine Metallics or Gemstone Mousse. Because there's a screen on these, your product needs to push through the screen, and I found that even using the tool that comes in there, it comes with like a small little, it's not in here, a small little squeegee tool. I find that using a throwaway foam brush works really well, and you can get like a pack of these, like 5 of them for $1 at the dollar store, okay? And Moonshine Metallics. So let's do Moonshine Metallics in Gold Digger today, okay? And if you want, we'll see if I can do Gemstone Mousse and Gold Digger. They both work equally well and they both work amazing. The second tip for you is to not use a lot of paint, okay? You're going to use a tiny, tiny amount of paint. I'm actually going to keep a paper towel here so that when I put my paint onto my foam brush and I push it through the Silkscreen, it's just a small, small amount of paint, okay? So, little foam brush, Moonshine Metallics, minimal amount of paint, and your Silkscreen stencil. And I know I'm missing questions, but guess what? I'll come back in and watch it after, and we can answer them. All right? So, when you get a Silkscreen stencil, you want to peel it off of the backing. Save this backing because you're going to wash this, put it back on, and save it for another day. You can use these again and again and again. I have one that I've used so many times that I'm over my 12 times and it's still kicking because you use it and you wash it right away, all right? So one side is sticky, that side's sticky, this side's not sticky. I'm gonna take my surface, which I know you can see, I can see my hand in the camera, and I'm gonna lay my Silkscreen stencil down, all right? Let's lay it so that the base, let's do it right in the middle. I was gonna line it up, but we'll just do it right in the middle. Okay, so once it's down onto your surface, push it down. You're just making sure that your sticky side is stuck onto the area that you're working with. See that? So see the green peeking through? That's where we're going to be working today. Anywhere where the blue tape is not going to have a stencil. Anywhere where you're seeing this green is going to have a stencil, okay? All right, so I've got my handy dandy little foam applicator and my Moonshine Metallics. Now, you're going to take your amount of paint and brush it off, okay? You don't want too much paint. Here's the other thing. When you start pushing it down, you're going to kind of want to push it through the screen. Should we do some holding it up so that you can see? So, I'm going to take this, see how my finger's kind of holding it? And I'm going to gently push it through the screen. Pushing it through the screen allows the paint to stick onto the piece. I like this foam applicator. It just really, really helps me get a nice, clean line. I always go over it and then look back in to make sure that I've got all of my areas covered. I'm not even gonna re-dip. I'm gonna just like gently touch it into the paint and push it through. So the Silkscreen is what's allowing that really crisp, crisp, crisp line. Because anywhere that net is, the paint's going through, and then you're gonna peel it off. You ready? Let me show you. And we're just gonna move it over and I'm gonna do it on the other side. So then you're gonna take your top, and you're gonna pull down. Oh, shadowy. Can you see how cool that is? Look at that. Look at how sharp that edge is. How pretty is that? Okay, so let me line it up. You can reuse it right away again, okay? Right away if you want, but then you're gonna have to wash it. So it's on. I'm just gonna push it down and do the same thing that I just did. Dipping my paint in to the Moonshine Metallics, rubbing it onto the areas. It's that easy, you guys. That easy to get such a crisp, clean detail. And it's almost like the raised stencil. Like it's bizarre because it sits in the Silkscreen, so when you peel it off, it just gives it such a beautiful look. It's really, really nice. Like I said, for me, as somebody who struggles with stenciling, this is the best way for me to get a clean line. Okay, so you see how I kind of stroked it straight down? That way, I'm getting the same amount of paint across the whole entire thing. All right, ready? Peeling it off. Dun, dun, dun. Now this needs to go into the wash ASAP. So I'm gonna put it on the floor and liberally spray it with water because I'm just gonna take a few more minutes with you. It legit needs to be washed like right away. Soapy water and it comes right off. Okay, so now you've got your stencil on your drawer with Moonshine Metallics and Holy Guacamole. Let's peel this off so you can kind of see my vision. Now I'm covered in water and holding a drawer. You would think that this is a light drawer, but when you hold it up like that, it makes your arm hurt. Are you loving this? Show me some hearts. Tell me some love. Tell me if you think you're gonna try a Silkscreen stencil, because you're not gonna get this crispness of the stencil on any other kind. It's like the magical trick for getting very crisp, very clean lines. What do you think? Bam, we're done. Look at that. So shiny, so defined. I'm gonna come in real close so you can see how beautiful and crisp those lines are. How crisp are those? So good, right? Look at that, it's super Art Deco. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. So now you can see my little vision start to happen of some beautiful Holy Guacamole, moonshine metallics. I've got these two drawers here. I'm going to be sticking these gorgeous little wood bends on here. I'm not going to do it yet. I think I want to wait for my stencil to get dry, just in case I move something around too much. That way I'm not going to mess it up. But also this boring little piece is going to get some fancy pants life. And it's going to have a new Mad Hatter life. And I'm going to dig it. I think it looks like a lot of fun. What do you think? Did we slam it out of the ballpark today? Because I kind of think we did. We did good today. All right, so let me give you a quick little rundown of everything I used today so that if you were thinking about shopping any of these Dixie Belle paint products, it's getting hot in here, you can always click the little link above my head and shop. If you missed something or you have a question, send me a message. I'm a nice person. I answer every message I get. I like to help everybody when I can. All right, so we did gorgeous musket on mine and amethyst. Musket on mine and aubergine. These two are really close on the color wheel, so they just blend really nicely. I have one drawer with Holy Guacamole. The stencil that I used today is the one that's called Patterns, okay? Look. It's called Patterns, and you can also get that. There's a set of 3 in there. There's so many fun patterns, washable, reusable. You saw my little trick about how to use that little foam applicator to get a nice crisp line. I have Lucky Lavender and Amethyst. I have Peacock and Bunker Hill. And we have wood bends all over the floor, and every single paintbrush and paint can is open. And that's how I roll. We're messy. So sit on the floor, play with paint, have some fun. If you want to come on over to my channel, the Top Drawer RVA, I'm happy to have you. And we can work on this together. Once it gets a little bit more dry, let's add some wood bends, we'll add some stripes. We might even do some like gilding wax stripes on the sides. That would be fabulous. What do you think? Sound like a plan? Does to me. All right, y'all, I have to go wash my Silkscreen stencil before it gets too dry. Right now it's sitting soaking wet on my leg. But I hope you had fun today. I hope you learned something. My name is Melissa. I am Dixie Belle's newest brand ambassador. I am live every Wednesday at 3. I'm the girl that talks too much. But you know, you're gonna learn something. You're gonna learn something when you hang out and listen to me, because I talk too much. So I hope you had fun. I will see you next week. Take care, everybody. Bye.